Hello, my name is Robert Larson. I'm an attorney and I'm also the owner of the Larson Law Office in Mesa, Arizona. And recently somebody asked me if I would do a video talking about how one parent going to prison affects different areas of family law. And I thought that was a good idea. This comes up a lot more often than you might think. And obviously, if one parent is sentenced to prison, that affects a lot of aspects of co-parenting. And so a few things that I thought of right off the bat, and there could be other aspects that are affected, but one of the things that I thought of is that just because one parent is going to prison doesn't mean you shouldn't go to court and do an official modification. Now, you might think that's kind of a waste of time. Obviously, the parent who is not incarcerated is going to be the one primarily making the decisions. They're going to be exercising all the parenting time, etc. So you might think that there's no reason to go to court and get a modification. But if you don't go get that modification, then your court orders are still technically the same. So maybe you're fine with that, and if so, that's fine. But if you may have a problem with a parent going to prison for, let's say, 5 years, and then they come out of prison, and then they want to go back to the same parenting schedule that you had in place before. So let's say, for example, you had a 50-50 arrangement, and then the person goes to prison for 5 years, and then they get out and they immediately want to go back to that 50-50, and you're like, hold on, wait a minute, there's a lot's changed. It's been 5 years that you've had very little contact with the children. I think you should start slow. They'd be able to say, well, our court order says 50-50. So you may want to go to court and get that modification, even though it may seem like there's no point in doing so. And really, it would be easy because if you want to go to court and get that modification while the other parent is in prison, they're not going to have much of a defense to it, actually. So I would recommend going to court and getting the modification done and make it official, so that you have a record of it, and so that when the other parent gets out of prison, you'll be able to say, okay, now you can start slowly having time with the children again or something, whatever it may be. It doesn't just automatically revert back to that schedule that you had before the incarceration. So I would get the modification first of all. Secondly, getting a modification is helpful for the person who's incarcerated when it comes to child support, because when you're in prison, they're not going to require you to pay any child support because you can't really earn any money. But at the same time, if you don't go to court and modify that officially, you may be on the record for owing money during that period of time. So if you're the person who's incarcerated, you also want to make sure you modify that child support. A third thing to remember is a lot of times when somebody's incarcerated, the other parent will try to um, terminate their parental rights. And if you're in prison, it can be kind of difficult to fight that because you're not able to be a parent to the children. But I would always recommend that you do as much as you possibly can. So you, in other words, try to have contact with them, at least send letters, send birthday gifts or cards or Christmas or whatever. Do whatever you can to show that you're trying the best you can. And just because you are in prison doesn't mean that you have no chance when somebody's trying to sever your rights to your children. You have to look at each situation individually, and there may be a possibility that you'll be able to overcome that if the other parent does try to terminate your rights. And then the other thing I would give advice to someone who's getting out of prison is try to take it slowly. It's not really expected that you would come out and just resume the relationship you had with your children before you were incarcerated. And the longer you were incarcerated, the more that would be true. But basically, you want it to be patient, take it slow, reintroduce yourself, start off with small visits with them and kind of build up over time. I've seen many people who were incarcerated for a period of time and eventually have great relationships with their children, have 50-50 time and so on. But it's reasonable that the other parent would want to have you rebuild that relationship over a period of time and take it slow. So those are some of the tips that I could think of. That's by no means a complete list of all the ways that people are affected by one parent spending some time in prison. There's certainly other things that could come up, and every situation is unique. But those are four things that I thought of right off the bat that are affected almost any time that you're having one parent be incarcerated for a period of time. So anyway, let me know what you think. If you have any questions, let me know. Thanks.